Yes, good afternoon, everyone. As you know, myself, I'm Daneshwari Enula. I'll be handling with software engineering for you guys. Okay, the subject code is 18CS35. So this is an brief overview regarding your respective course, and even in my one of the online class, I've specified you regarding this. So that's why I'll skip this particular section of course overview. So ultimately, a course outlines software engineering. You'll be ultimately learning software engineering principles and activities involved in building large software programs there. And prerequisites for this particular courses, you should know some basics of programming language, and you should know some fundamental object-oriented concepts. Then it will be here with you will be getting to know the importance of software building and the significance of this courses. You'll get to know regarding SDLC, that stands out for software development life cycle. So wherein we give greater importance to software testing and its maintenance there. So these are the course outcomes. So ultimately, these are the things what you will be learning at the end of this particular course by studying. There comes is your very first module, that is introduction. Okay, so ultimately at this end of this, the very first module, so you'll come across to know the importance of software engineering. Okay, it gets you answers to some key questions. Then you'll get to know some terms called out as ethical issues and professional issues. Then you'll get across to know how to analyze the socio-technical system. Then you'll be evaluating the concept of emergent system properties and activities involved in the system engineering. So here comes is your very first chapter, and that's introduction. So the topics covered under this is what do you mean by professional software development and what is software engineering. So you'll get across to know what is software engineering ethics. Then some case studies. Of course, in brief, you'll be coming across to know in your further sections there. So the very first one, what do you mean by software engineering? So always keep in mind, it is concerned with theories, methods, and tools for professional software development. So ultimately, as I said in my prior classes also, software engineering, as you are going to be an software engineer. So if at all you are being called out as a software engineer, then you are being pre-defaultly, you are being assumed that you know the theories of software engineering, you know the methods which are included and the tools which are being provided by the software development. You are making use of those tools, and then you are creating across with your professional software development there. The economies of all developed nations ultimately depend on the software. As we know nowadays, without computers, ultimately we cannot imagine any kind of a medium in our respective work there. Okay, so ultimately more and more systems are being nowadays being controlled by software. So who are creating softwares? Ultimately we, the developers or engineers or so-called software engineers there. Okay, so then ultimately the expenditure on the software, which represents a significant fraction in our GNP, which is developed by the countries there, various different countries. So one major factor which I need to concentrate here is the software cost there. Okay, so when I'm using any professional software development tools, so ultimately my software cost included will be and moderate one will be an the one which I'll be charging across, because for any respective software, if I do not charge it and if I give it freely, now you all guys must be very aware. So if I want to install any new software, assume a software called out as MATLAB, assume there are, of course, I agree that there are some free sources also, but apart from that, there are some softwares which you have to purchase it. So when you are purchasing it, ultimately, I being as a customer, I'll be very sure that the cost whatever I will be giving across to that particular software will meet my all requirements there. So ultimately your software cost matters a lot. So software costs often dominate the computer system costs there. Okay, that is dominate computer system costs are nothing but it can be PC, it can be the hardwares which are included across. So it ultimately dominates, it overcomes those all things there. So software cost more to maintain than it does to develop there. Okay, for maintenance you need to pay more of the software cost as compared to development. Okay, so with long life, ultimately systems which we are going to develop or something, so we always say that it should have a long life, it should be good maintained. Okay, the maintain cost must be moderate one. Okay, it should be maybe several times the development cost. Why? Only because only just developing and keeping it across does it's not your work done. So you have to maintain it for a prolonged time, and it shows assuredly that this product is working very smoothly for this particular period of time. So ultimately I say that it is well maintained one. So assume just an small little real-time example I can straight away connect you across. So it is something like when you go across to any electronic shop, you buy a particular good. So we'll be always asking, the very first question is there any service center for this particular brand of a good, whatever I am taking there? So if at all that particular electronic good and that particular brand has a service center, then I feel it very feasible to spend amount on that. If at all there is no service center for that particular item, so ultimately I start deflecting across the product to be bought there. So ultimately software engineering is concerned with, ultimately I want my particular software development to be cost effective there. So let's come across with our next slide there. Okay. So what are the main causes for any particular software project failures there? One is there is an increasing demand of complexity. That is, system complexity is increasing. So it is something like, of course, as we are building across with large systems, they are complex systems. So ultimately the demands for that particular system changes rapidly. When they changes rapidly and quickly, so ultimately we are assuming with increase with the system complexity there, and when there is an increase in system complexity, of course it will affect the performance of the respective software, and indeed that will be an failure of the respective project. Okay, else the second one is failure to use software engineering methods. I have all with me but I do not know how to use it. So ultimately, it's the same thing here. If at all you do not have any idea of using software engineering methods, so ultimately that's a project failure of the software, whatever you have generated. Ultimately, I can say that it's expensive. So it is something like if I ask you for a very big number for a multiplication, so I don't prefer doing that multiplication manually. So instead I take away the calculator, I start doing across and I say that this is my respective answer for it. So ultimately, I am more nowadays, we are more into atomized as compared to manuality. So ultimately, if I do not use the software engineering methods in a proper way, ultimately there's a failure which can be assumed there. Okay, so then comes across, what do you mean by this term called out as professional software development? So these are some of the asked questions there. Okay, I need not explain you these things. Of course, they are self-explanatory, this particular slide. Okay, what is software? We know that, as you had answered me the other day also, there's are small computer programs, associated documents are there for that. Software products may be developed to a particular person, or that can be developed in a general market there. What do you mean by attributes? Attributes are nothing but properties which define a particular software. Okay, then what is software engineering? I am making across with this term engineering is used so that I am using proper appropriate methods to generate or else to produce that particular software. Okay, then comes, what are the fundamental software engineering activities? In your further slides also will come across in brief with all these things. So your software engineering activities are software specification, development, validation, and evolution. Okay, then comes, what's the difference between this term called as software engineering and computer science? Computer science is the one which focuses on theory and fundamentals, whereas software engineering is concerned with the practicalities of developing and delivering useful software. So ultimately, I'm interested here in software engineering with my ultimate end product there. Whereas computer science, it's with theories are there, fundamentals are there. Then comes with the term system engineering and software engineering. What's the difference? System engineering is concerned with aspects of computer-based system development, including hardware, whereas hardware and software and process engineering. Software engineering is a part of more general processor. Okay. Then these are more frequently asked questions. What are the key challenges which are being faced by the software engineering? So that can be coping with increasing diversity, demands. Okay. Ultimately reducing the number of delivery times the particular software is delivered to the customer side. Then what are the costs of software engineering? So roughly we can say that 60% of software costs are development one, and 40% are of testing costs. Okay, and for custom software, evolution costs often exceed the development costs. Okay, then comes, what are the best software engineering techniques and methods? So there are many methods which are already available. Okay, so games, it is something like example, games should always be developed using a series of prototypes. Rules should be there. Okay, whereas we have and safety critical control systems. Okay, which ultimately gives you and complete and analyzable specification there. Then comes, what difference has web made to software engineering? Ultimately, nowadays, if I don't have any online facility available for anything, so I just say that that is of no use. Okay, so ultimately web plays a very important role in software engineering. Okay, that comes is our major concern here. So whenever I'm saying software and when I use the word called out as software products, so there are two types of products which I'll be getting across. What is that? One is called out as generic products and one more is called out as customized product. What is this generic product now? Generic products are, those are standalone systems of course, but they are that are marketed and sold to any customer who wishes to buy them. Okay, those are available generically. Now, like for example, it can be a CAD software. Okay, else it can be such as appointment system for a dentist, or else for it can be an hospital management system, or else it can be an any respective marketing system or something like that. Customized products are for particular customer and particular software is being generated. So software that is commissioned by a specific customer to meet their own needs there. Okay, so like for example, air traffic control software, traffic monitoring system. So these are all nothing but your customized products there. Then comes across is for a specification, product specification. So what do you mean by this? For generic products, the specification of what the software should do is owned by the software developer, and the software developer is the one for any kind of changes. The developer is responsible for that. Customized products are those, the specification of what the software should do is owned by the customer for the software, and they make decisions on software changes that are required there. So there comes another question of what are the attributes of a good software. So there are mainly four attributes of a very good software there. One is called it as maintainability. The second one is dependability and security. Then third one is efficiency. And the fourth one is acceptability. Okay. Maintainability is nothing but software should be written in such a way that it can evolve to meet the changing needs of customers. Okay, it should be easily maintainable. I do not say the word easily, but it should be rectifiable. It should be maintainable. The second one is dependability and security. So whatever software we are looking across, so it includes a range of characteristics. It can be reliability, security, safety, and all these things. Okay, dependable software should not cause physical or economic damage in the event of system failure. Okay, so and one more very major thing is whenever I download any software or else install any software, that should be an secure one. So there should not be any increment of any malicious users or something there. The third one happens to be efficiency. The software should not make wasteful use of system resources there. It should make an efficient use of memory, processor cycles. It can be responsiveness, processing time, memory utilization, and all other things. Okay, acceptability. What do you mean by acceptability? Acceptability is nothing but it should be easily acceptable. It should be easily understandable. The user interface, whatever a software has, so that should be easily usable there. Okay, it should be understandable, usable. So these are all the characteristics, or else you can call it as attributes of and good software there. Okay, then comes is as I said just now, software engineering. I need not explain it again. So software engineering is an engineering discipline that is concerned with all aspects of software production, from the early stages of system specification through to maintaining the system after it has gone into use. Okay, so this is with software engineering as a term. Okay, so of course the importance of software engineering comes across as more and more individuals and society rely on advanced software system nowadays. Okay, so it is usually cheaper in a long run to use software engineering methods. Okay, if I use it now only with methods and techniques that can be used for a long period of time, it is usually cheaper there. Okay, but if at all I invest with less methods and techniques now, so it can be it can increase with your maintenance cost there. So that's one. Then what are these software process activities here? Just now, as I said, software process activities are software specification. So specification is nothing but where customers and engineers define the software what they are building that is to be produced, and the constraints on its respective operations there. The second activity is software development. So development stands for where the software is designed and programmed. The third respective step is software validation, where the software is checked to ensure that it is what the customer requires. Okay, what the customer is wanting and what we have defined. That is software validation. Software evolution is where the software is modified to reflect changing customer and market requirements. Okay, if there are any customer changes which a customer enters or something there, so that phase is called out as evolution. So for any software build, these are your three main things there: specification, development, and validation. Okay, once the product is available in the market and it is being used, so and then I see that the software has to be modified, okay, to reflect some of the changes of the requirements. Then that phase I call it across as software evolution. Then comes, there are some issues which affect ultimately the software. What are those? One is heterogeneity. Heterogeneity is increasingly systems are required to operate as distributed systems across networks that include different types of computers and mobile devices. So now there are some things, if at all you have observed, on a desktop, the what do you say, the availability of that particular software will be different. On your respective laptops it will be different, on tab phones it will be different, and on mobile phones it will be different. Because of this heterogeneity, so that has become our major issue for any respective software there. Okay, now if I open up anything on a laptop, I want the same thing the same way to appear on my mobile phone, but you will find that there are some changes for mobile versions as compared to your desktop versions there. Okay, that's one issue, that is heterogeneity. The second one is business and social change. If there are any business changes or else society are changing incredibly quickly as emerging economies develop and new technologies become available, they need to be able to change their existing software and do rapidly, and to rapidly with a new software there, rapidly develop the new software there. This is the second one. The third general issue is security and trust. As software is intervened, okay, so we find that security plays a very important role. We can trust that particular software there. Okay, else the last one that happens to be scale. So across a wide range of scales, from very small embedded systems in portable or wearable devices through to internet scale or cloud-based systems that serve a global community. Okay, so ultimately software engineering diversity. So what do you mean by this? There are many different types of software systems there, and there is no universal set of software techniques that is applicable to all of these. The software engineering methods and tools used depend on the type of application being developed and the requirements of the customer and the background of the development team. Okay, so there are many different applications types there. One is called out as standalone application, interactive transaction-based application. Standalone or single PC, where it executes only on that particular PC. Interactive-based one, where UI plays a very important role. Embedded control systems, where the inputs are being given through hardware devices and it is being converted into digital form. So else it can be batch processing, where at a time the inputs are being accepted in large batches there. Then comes entertainment system, where the graphic plays a very important role. Systems for modeling and simulation. Systems are developed by scientists and engineers to model physical processes or situations, which include many separate interacting objects there. There comes with application types the same thing. One more is data collection systems, where ultimately my main motto is to collect the data. It can be through using of sensors, or else it can be use of data or other systems for processing there. Okay, whereas the last one, system of systems, these are the systems wherein these are the systems that are composed of a number of other software systems. Okay, the last very section is of software engineering ethics there. Okay, software engineering ethics has been given across, or it has been dealt into two different types here. Okay, one is called out as software engineering ethic. One is called out as your ethical issues there. Okay, one is the software engineering involves wider responsibilities. Simply the application of simply the application of technical skills. Software engineers must behave in an honest and ethical, responsible way. Okay, now if at all you are a software engineer, always keep in mind you should be professional. You should not disclose the things what are being dealt with you. Okay, ethical behavior is more than simply upholding the law, but involves following a set of principles that are normally correct. Okay, so the issues in professional responsibility are, the very first one is confidentiality. Okay, usually engineers should maintain confidentiality of the work what they are doing. okay, of their employers or clients, irrespective of whether or not a formal confidentiality agreement has been signed. The second one is competence. Okay, so whenever it comes across with a competence, engineer should not be misrepresent their level of competence. If they have an competence level, so that has to be accepted, and at the same level, the things are to be attained there. Okay. The third one is intellectual property rights. If someone else has used, and if someone else has already published that and you're making use of it, better mention the things there. Else it is something like you're malpracticing the things there. Okay, that is all with intellectual property rights. Even simple and photograph you're taking, or else an a paragraph you're taking from someone else. So those all have to be mentioned there. Okay, and then comes is computer misuse. Okay, if at all, should not use the technical skill to misuse some other person's computers there. Okay, computer misuse should be totally avoided there. Okay. There are some, if at all I consider with ACM or IEEE, there are some code of ethics there. Okay, it has something around 8 principles. Okay, so that maintains across defining the ethics there. Okay. So it is something like public, client and employer, product, judgment, management, profession, colleagues, and self. Okay, you can just go through here. Software engineer shall act consistently with the public interest. Okay, software engineer shall act in a manner that is in the best interest of their client and employer, consistent with the public interest. Okay, so you can just go through the other one. So these all tell you regarding ethical principles, 8 ethical principles there. Okay. Okay, this is all with your chapter 1. You can just go through with this particular video. Okay, and later we'll have a session on the same, and you guys can query me regarding with your doubts there. Okay, thank you.